Hello, I'm Neil, UK English tutor. Today I'm going to talk about the three prepositions in, on and at for the physical location of things and position. So there is actually some logic to it. They can actually be used for time, but that's for a different day. And the three prepositions, they can be used in some quite unusual ways. So that will also be a different video. Today, just the basics, saying where things are. So starting with in, this is for when one thing is inside another thing. And the thing that the thing is in is like a border, a boundary, a limit, or a container for that thing. Starting with something very big, the world. I could say this garden is the best garden in the world. It's in the world somewhere. Actually, to make it a smaller area, it's in Europe. I live in Europe. That's the shape of Europe there. And I don't live in a city or a town. I live in a village. So I'm within that village. That village is the border and I'm inside it somewhere. So you talk about what you live in. Maybe you live in an apartment in a town. Do you work in a town? Do you work in a city? Do you work in an office or in a factory? And for position, you could say the tree is in the middle of the garden. Or you could say I am standing in the corner of the garden. And why in the corner? Maybe you've heard of at the corner or on the corner. In the corner is when you are within, usually a square. And on the corner or at the corner is outside that square. The preposition on is used when something is on top of another thing. Usually it's above a thing when you're talking about physical location. So there's actually some logic to that part, like there is a bird on the roof, there is a drink on the table. I could say that my glasses are on my head. They're kind of at the top. But something doesn't have to be above, on another thing. You can say you've got a picture on your t-shirt, or you can look at the tree and say there are apples on the tree. They're not above the tree, they're connected to it. So this is another thing. When one thing is connected to another thing, we often say it's on. So there's the light on the bathroom ceiling. We call it on the ceiling, even though this is the ceiling, it's here, it's actually under it. The way to think about this is you have to imagine a surface. So here's your surface and you put a thing on it, okay? You know this, it's on there and now it is off there. Right, but this pen doesn't stick to it, that's why it falls off. Imagine you write on here, okay? You would say there's some writing on this surface. Then it doesn't matter if you turn it that way. There's still writing on it that way. There's still writing on it. It doesn't matter. There is tea in my mug. Nobody lives in this house. Bed. The dog is in the kennel. We use at to say that something or somebody is near or in the area of a location or place. You commonly use this with being at work. So let's say if you work in a shop, then you spend most of your day at that shop. If you work in a factory, you spend most of your day at the factory. You might be in one end of it and another end, but you're still at the factory. So if somebody calls you and they say, "Where are you?" You just say, I'm at work. If they know where you work, then that's okay. They know, oh, you work in a shop, you're at the shop. What about people who don't work at the same place all the time? Like, they don't work in an office, they don't work in a factory or at a shop. Like the police, the people who go around fixing coffee machines in town, or an electrician who works in different houses every day, standing around eating banitsa. What if you call one of these people, they can't say, I'm at work. Not really. They would say, I'm working. But if you know that person very well and you know where they're working on that day, then yeah, they could say, I'm at work, only because you know where it is. When you arrange to meet someone, you might say, I'll meet you at the pub, I'll meet you at the cinema, or I'll meet you in the hotel at reception. When we give people directions, we use at quite a lot. So somebody says to you, how do I get to the train station? And you say, the train station, okay. Go to the end of this road. At the end of this road, turn left. Then continue along that road, and at the traffic lights, you turn right. Then go along that road and you will see a bus stop. At the bus stop, you will see lots of people waiting. Ask one of them where the train station is, because I don't know. If you're at home and you hear the doorbell or somebody knocking at the door, you might say to someone, go and answer the door. There's somebody at the door. I can't, I've got some banitsa to eat and coffee. Sometimes there's confusion between using in and at. As I said earlier, in is for when something is inside another thing. For example, you put your drink in a mug. So try to think, if you can't decide between in and at, is there a boundary, is there a limit, is there a container? And is the thing within that, then you would use in. So for example, if you want to meet someone just outside the hotel, you can say, I'll meet you at the hotel by the entrance, because you're not really inside anything, so you're not going to say, I'll meet you in the hotel. Although, if you do want to meet someone in the hotel, inside it, you could say, I'll meet you at the hotel, and it's a big hotel, so you need a bit more detail. I'll meet you at the hotel, in the restaurant, at the table by the window. Going back to in and on, here's something that causes a lot of confusion. And it's about sitting on chairs and other things. So, do you sit in something or on something? At the moment, I am sitting on a box. If it's a bench, you sit on it always. If it's a sofa, also called a couch or a settee, you sit on it. If it's a stool with 3 legs, 4 legs, you sit on it. And these simple chairs with no arms, we call them arms, you sit on that kind of chair. And with cars, you always sit in the seat in a car. You never call them chairs in a car. You always sit in the seat in an aeroplane. You always sit in the seat in the cinema. Whether you sit in a chair or on a chair does depend on the type of chair. What about the chair you sit on if you work in an office? As a rule, I would say if the chair has got arms, you know, here, where you can rest your arms. If you've got arms like that, then usually you sit in it. If it hasn't got any arms, it's just flat where you sit and then a back, you sit on it. I'm sitting in this chair. I'm sitting on this chair. Now here's something I get asked all the time. Right, imagine you are sitting in or on your office chair at work, and outside in the street some giants go past. Giants who are 100 meters tall, and they're playing basketball. Always doing this. Every time they bounce the ball, the building shakes, some buildings get knocked over and squashed, cars explode, and windows are smashing all around you. And the army come, and the army are trying to shoot down the giants. Happens all the time. And you can't concentrate on your work. It's terrible. And then, suddenly, your building shakes violently, and you're suddenly not in your chair or on your chair anymore. You're on the floor. The question is, did you fall off your chair or did you fall out of your chair? Well, if you were sitting in your chair, you fell out of your chair. And if you were sitting on your chair, you fell off your chair. And if you were standing at the window, I don't know, filming it or eating a sandwich, and you find yourself on the street, you fell out of the window. Some exercises then. I'll read a sentence with a gap in it where either in, on or at should be. I'll wait a few seconds, then read the correct sentence. If you need more time, press pause. 1. I like to go swimming the sea. I like to go swimming in the sea. 2. I'm wearing a mask, my face. I'm wearing a mask on my face. I'm holding my phone, my hand. I'm holding my phone in my hand. 4. I do most of my work, my desk. I do most of my work at my desk. 5. I'm lying a hammock. I'm lying in a hammock. 6. There are no children around today. They are all school. There are no children around today. They are all at school. 7. There are lots of books. The shelves. There are lots of books on the shelves. 8. There's a calendar. The wall. There's a calendar on the wall. 9. We had a great time last night. A party. We had a great time last night at a party. 10. I record these videos sitting a box. I record these videos sitting on a box. This time I'm going to ask some open questions. You need to think up the whole answer. 1. Where are the plants? Where are the plants? The plants are in the ground. 2. Where am I standing? I'm standing on the grass. 3. There's a long queue. I'm the last person in the queue. So where am I? I'm at the end of the queue, or I'm at the back of the queue. Where is the dust? The dust is on the window, or you could say on the glass. 6. What am I doing? I'm standing on a chair. 7. Where are the birds? You can hear them. The birds are in the trees. You could say they are in the garden as well. I came down the hill and I couldn't go down any more. Where am I? I'm at the bottom of the hill. 9. Where are the clouds? Oh, the clouds are in the sky. 10. Where is Spider-Man? Well, Spider-Man is on my t-shirt. So that is some basic in, on and at for the physical location of things. I will do a more advanced one of these for those 3 prepositions at some point. I'm Neil, UK English tutor. I teach English lessons online. Contact me if you're interested, and I'll see you next week.